Please. So write this down. So write this down. 43 workdays. 9 weeks. We have 9 weeks, and we have 43 workdays. And what I did was I wrote down 3 points that we must get as we're running through the finish line here. So number 1, we need to understand the value of the accumulation effect on our business. We must understand the value of the accumulation effect on our business. If you do anything regularly for a long time, it will create results over time. We kind of get that, but you've got to own that, especially as we're focusing here, running through the finish line. Number 2, we need to know that the market doesn't determine if I make my goal. The market does not determine if I make my goal. It does determine what I have to do in order to make my goal. We've talked about this so much over the last few weeks. The market in the last quarter tends to shrink slightly in terms of number of listings taken and sales made. It just does. That's what happens. Slightly, less, something less. But what happens that really has a bigger effect on the market is that most real estate agents think there's no business or there's a lot less business, so they tend to do what?
Back off.
Work less. It's hard for some of them, in my opinion, it's hard for some people to work less, but okay. It's just my opinion, all right? But the point is, so if the real estate agents are not in the market working, looking for business, and there's less business, the opportunity level for you that are working in the market goes up dramatically. Do you guys get that? You've got to understand that. It doesn't matter what's going on in the market. What matters is what you're doing. And number 3, intense daily practice, not just to learn, but for you to become better, is critical. Intense daily practice. As I wrote down here, waste your money and you've only wasted money. Waste your money and you've only wasted money. Waste your time and you've wasted part of your life. Do you guys get that? Very critical as we focus toward the end of the year. So I wrote down here 2 words, relentless and unstoppable. Relentless and unstoppable. Interestingly enough, when I typed that into Google yesterday, I came up with a book called Being Relentless and Unstoppable. Go figure, right? So, you must be easy to start and hard to stop. In this world, in our life, yet more importantly right now, you must be easy to start and hard to stop. So I wrote down here, what would your next level, just the next 43 workdays, okay? Just put that picture in your mind, in that box. In the next 43 workdays, what would your next level look like? What would your next level look like? I'm talking to you personally right now. What would that level for you look like? Some people will look like this, some people will look like that. So the question is, maybe your next level is 1 more listing or 1 more sale. Maybe that's what it is. 1 more listing or 1 more sale. And what if that listing or sale closed and we got paid before the end of the year, what's that worth to you? Write it down. One more listing that's sold and it closed between now and the end of the year. Now, for some of you, one's not enough. You're a little bit like me, a bit of an overachiever. There's 43 work days, so I don't be able to do 43 deals. Well, why not? Okay? There's only 240 work days in the year. Are there some agents in the country who sell 240 houses? Hello?
Yes.
Hello? Yeah. So then it's not unreasonable to think that way. If not me, then who? If not now, then when? Do you get it? Why not? But let's just get to you. Let's talk about you. So is it one deal? Is it two deals? Is it three deals? And then multiply that out. What is that worth to you? And if we got paid that, and we got that money, and we received that check, I want you to think about how would that make you feel? How would that make you feel? You took the listing, you sold the property, you closed the escrow, get into the feeling, and you got the check. $8,000, $10,000, $12,000, $14,000, $25,000. We just opened an escrow today on somebody that was putting together a deal that was kind of marginal, whether it would go through or not. It's going to close escrow before the end of the year for $47,000 to the agent. $47,000 to the agent. In our markets, that's a big deal. Okay? I think in all markets, that's probably a big deal. But certainly in our markets, that's a big deal. That agent just did what they were supposed to do when they were supposed to do it. They wouldn't take no for an answer, and they ended up double-ending the transaction, and they popped it, and it went into escrow this morning. Okay? You can do it. It's out there. How would that feel? So here's a question. Would it feel good or bad?
Great.
It would feel good. It would feel, who said great?
I did.
Great. It would feel fabulous. That would be amazing. So would you be proud of that, or would that embarrass you? Proud, right? So it would be something to be really proud of. Wow, Neil said it could be done. I wasn't sure, because I'm not sure exactly what he's talking about half the time. But, because he's talking about wanting, work and door knocking and phone canvassing and scripts and dialogues and all these foreign things. Okay? But wow, putting that one more deal together, earning that one more commission, getting that one more thing. So, I wrote down here, would you feel good about being able to help a family member during this holiday time? Would that make you feel good? And then I wrote down here, would it make you feel good? What if, for those of us that have parents, what if you were able to take some of that money and write a check anonymously and make your parents' house payment this month or next month or the month after? Wouldn't that feel great? Yes. Or wouldn't it feel great to write a check and pay off your parents' mortgage? Nothing would make me happier. It would be phenomenal to be able to do that for my folks. That would feel awesome. So then I wrote down here, well, so let me ask you, I think that would feel awesome for me. Would it feel good for you, yes or no?
Yes.
All right. So then I wrote down here, how about helping your kids out? Maybe they're struggling a little bit. Or maybe you want to just take, between now and the end of the year, you want to plan on a last-minute trip. Just something that you want to do with your family, your kids, some kind of a last-minute trip to some kind of special place that you've been wanting to go to, someplace that's on the bucket list. Maybe just that special holiday gift to yourself, or that special Christmas gift. Because remember, 12/25, 2014 is coming, okay? It's going to be here very, very quickly. And would an extra deal or two or three or four make a difference for that Christmas time for you? Yes. For that holiday time? For your family, for the gift that they want? So I wrote down here, you can still list and sell a property, get it into escrow, and close it before the end of the year. You have to be relentless, write that down again. You have to be relentless, and you have to be unstoppable for the next 43 workdays. For the next 43 workdays. So I wrote down here, in life, there are always rules that we have to follow if we expect to succeed. So I wrote down 7 of them for us in real estate now that I believe we have to focus in on and stay focused in on for the next 43 workdays. So some of you might want to write this down. Number 1, not necessarily in this order, but it's a good order to work on. Number 1, find people to buy and sell real estate. Find people that need to buy and sell real estate. I wrote down here, you can't have too many of those. Number 1, find people that need to buy and sell real estate. Number 2, follow up on them daily. The more often, the better. So was number 1 really tough? Number 2 was tougher, right? Number 3, you need to qualify them carefully. You cannot know too much about the people you're working with. You need to qualify them carefully. The next one is you need to go on listing presentations or buyer presentations every single day for the next 43 workdays. Why not? Why not? Why can't you set and go on an appointment every day? The only reason you can't or won't is because you don't think you can. Truth. Because if you talk to enough people, you'll find somebody that needs to go look at property tomorrow, or somebody that might be interested in selling that property. The next point is close them. They will sign if you make a great presentation. They will sign the contract if you make a great presentation. The next point, the 6th point, is you need to negotiate with them on the transaction. This is really where we get paid. It's the give a little, get a little, give a little, get a little, give a little, get a little. And then the last one, the 7th point, is start over again every day at 0. We have no listings, we have no sales. We get out there and do our job tomorrow. So I wrote down here some questions you need to have answered before we leave our meeting today. Only if you want to relentlessly go through the finish line, where you're going to absolutely be unstoppable for the next 43 workdays. Look, Henry Ford said, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Some of you right now are thinking Neil is totally on drugs this time. This time he has finally flipped the switch. He's gone. Okay? Who am I to say to you that you could go get a listing appointment every single day? Well, let me tell you something. I'm the guy who thinks you're capable of way more than you think you're capable of. That's the difference between me and you. My largest challenge, Bill's largest challenge, Diane's largest challenge, Bob's largest challenge with working with you folks is trying to get you, A, to understand that you're capable of so much more. Remember, you are where you are because it's okay with you. And you have to say, that's it. I'm not taking this anymore. And I need to move to the next level. I must get to the next level for myself, for my family, for the way that that extra deal or two would feel that we talked about earlier. So I wrote down these things that we need to work on in the next 43 workdays. Here's the questions. In the next 43 workdays, you will work how many of those days? So write down the question. You don't have to write down the answer right now because you might not know the answer. But the question is, of the next 43 workdays, how many will you commit to working relentlessly and be unstoppable at? Number one. Number two, how many people will you talk to? We are in the talk to the people business. No appointment, no money. You guys get that?
Yes.
No appointment, no money. It's the way this business works. The third one is how many of those people that you'll talk to will be past client and sphere of influence. How many people that you're going to talk to, that you're committing to talk to for the balance of the year, will be past client and sphere of influence? And then the next question is, how many of the people that you'll talk to will be new contacts, people that you've not talked to yet, people that you've never talked to yet? Next point is how much time will you spend with intense lead follow-up on the leads that you will have generated, either already have generated or will be generating over the next 43 days. How much time will you spend? Will it be an hour a day, 2 hours a day, 4 hours a day? Let me ask you guys a question. In your last 6 months of prospecting and door knocking and phone canvassing, everybody with me in the last 6 months? How many deals have you lost from over following up?
0.
How many deals? How many deals have you lost from under following up? Isn't it interesting? When I ask the first question, I get this stone face, I never lose a deal from over following up. And then I ask it, reverse it, how many deals have you lost from under following up? And oh. How many deals do we lose from not following up enough? Spend time doing that. Next point. How many appointments will you go on in the next 43 days? I challenge you to write down 43. I challenge you to write down 43. What's the worst that can happen? You go on 42. You failed and you went on 41. You really screwed up and went on 30. You know, we're going to all fail at a really high level today, okay? That's okay. Challenge you to write down 43, excuse me. I wrote down here, how many listings will you take? If you went on 43 appointments, how many listings would you take? We can dream. We can close 1 deal, we can close 2 deals, we could close 5 deals, we could close 8 deals. We could close 10 deals. There are agents that in the next 43 work days that will probably put 15 or 20 properties into escrow. You know them. Some of them are in this company. And they'll do a ton of properties, a ton of transactions. Why not you? Just why not? And then I wrote down here, how many sales will you make? How many sales will you make? Then I have this really big question. Will the activities and goals that we just created and that we work on provide the Christmas and holiday time that you want and for your family and your family deserves? Would it?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Absolutely. An extra deal or 2, an extra 2 or 4, an extra 4 or 6. Why not? The only reason you don't think it can happen is because you don't think it can happen. I've seen it happen. I've seen agents take 8, 10, 12 listings at this period of time. Okay, it's true, they didn't all sell and close in the next 43 days. Some of them actually sold and closed in January. Isn't that a bitch? Oh, Neil, you screwed up again. You know, you said it was all going to close in December, and some of them didn't close till January, and you see, Neil, you're not always right. I get this all the time. I wrote down here, running through the finish line, we must work to be relentless and unstoppable. In running through the finish line, we must be relentless and unstoppable. You must be easy to start and hard to stop. You must be easy to start and hard to stop. I want you to go out and I want you to focus in on making this the absolute best week that you've ever had, being unstoppable and being relentless. And let's work on running through the finish line. Thank you very much.